program. It's not just for the analysts alone. You can also weigh in, past comments or take a position. Or let us just know how you feel about this particular headline this morning. All you need to do is call us on 0807 777 9927. You can also leave us your comments or contributions on WhatsApp as well too. 0807 777 9927. But please note that we have a space of 1 minute, 60 seconds to pass our comment, and then let's go straight to the points. Let's not insult anybody with our comment. Make it very brief, and so that we can accommodate others join the program as well too. Views to be expressed, it is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7, but solely as expressed by the callers this morning or the analyst Nicholas Uwaronoya. Let's get right into the heart of our conversation.
Also, to remind you that we're streaming live on Facebook at Flow FM NG and on YouTube at Flow FM 927. So you can get on either of these apps and get an on live action happening in the studio right now. Let's dive into the conversation for this morning. NCC OK's operators request and caps Telecom's tariff hike at 50%, and that means that calls would become 16.4 naira, 16.4 naira, and the hike could generate 6.74 trillion naira in revenue for telecom operators in 2025.
Oh. Well, that's quite substantial.
My apologies, 16.5. 16 naira 5 kobo per minute.
Okay.
Per minute,
right.
yeah.
Well, the first thing that struck me is that, when GSM came on board, the price per minute was about 30 naira 35. You understand? Then what happened was that they introduced choices for Nigeria with Glo coming on board, and at the end of the day, we had more of competition and it reduced the price to what we currently enjoy. Now, what is happening now is that it looks like we are edging up towards that 30 naira mark again, especially at this time. So what it simply tells me is that things are getting tougher for Nigerians. That is what it means. It's like, we have not been able to manage the success of that privatization, So, and if you recall, what I have always said, about this tariff thing is that a situation where the providers and the government just sit down and decide on the price and force it on the buyers. For me, it's an aberration. It's a market aberration for me, because it should be about the customers dictating the pace. If you have so big a market, there should be reasons. There must be reasons for it to be cheaper. Now, what did the federal government do to make it cheaper for Nigerians when it was 30? It was to introduce 30 naira in those days. It was to introduce another, choice for Nigerians, which is the Nigerian-owned telecommunication. I don't want to give a free publicity here, So that was what was done, and it drastically brought down, the prices of the cost calls. Now. So my question is, I know that Nigeria is still big and telephony is still not well. It's still not widespread, especially in the rural communities. I think there are better ways of making cheaper calls. That franchises outside Nigeria are willing to key into. Are we looking in that direction, or just satisfying these few fat cats, that keep on preying on Nigeria? Yes, you're talking about huge revenues that might come out from it at the end of the day, but at whose expense? So when you keep on taxing, there is a limit that Nigerians can take, taxpayers can take. We still don't know. We've been saying things about the tax bill that is coming on board, and we are optimistic that it's going to raise a lot of revenue. It's going to allow for more enterprise and things like that. There are tax safe havens for ordinary people, supposedly, but that is just supposedly, like I said. So what if the permutations didn't quite work out? So where are we going? Where exactly are we going? Where is the common man going? So these are some of the things that I think, that kind of worries me from this proposal. And I'm still waiting, honestly, for the subscriber, organizations to, come up and give their position on this matter.
Well, Nicholas, you just tried to preempt me a little bit, but I was going to go back and then ask you this. That has to do with you're saying that it shouldn't be the government and this telecom operators that that will fix the price. It should be on the people. But again, how much of input do every ordinary Nigerian ordinary Nigerian, how much of input do they have as to determine the price of the tariff for the calls? Look at it. If you look at the Nigerian Labour Congress as well too, and then fixing of the minimum wage, who goes in to represent the people? The Nigerian Labour Congress, and then you have the subscribers union as well too. Now, looking at these two unions on the parts of the NLC, and then seeing the kind of the antecedents and then what they have been able to do, can we now say, okay, we'll leave it on subscribers, body to actually determine or speak the true mind of Nigerians?
Yeah, what you have just painted is, one of the tragedy of being a Nigerian, really, honestly. Because at every point, at every turn, we are being denied the benefit of a citizenship. You understand? In fact, I was listening to, a conversation, of one of these prominent lawyers saying that, the concept of citizenship is denied most Nigerians. We don't even know what citizenship means. So we are just residents here. We are not citizens. So the meaning of citizen is that he must have a voice in how he's ruled. He must have a voice in the kind of market that he chooses to go to. You understand? And the duty of government is to provide me choices that I can make, that are cheaper, that I can afford. Especially in an essential service like telecommunication. You understand? So that is one of the problems. And that is what, all this union thing have been preying on, because this victimhood, that we find ourselves in, it doesn't allow us to, kind of have a verse. What we have as unions are just contrived oppositions, contrived unionists. They are just there to serve certain purposes, not the purposes of people who actually put them there.
Whose fault is that when prices like this are fixed?
Yeah,
because the telecom they will probably make proposals.
That is, you have a point there, and that speaks to the complacency of the average Nigerian or subscriber user. You understand? We just take things as they throw it at us, and we don't. There is no cohesive. There is no cohesive, united front in presenting a position, and of course, you cannot divorce this from the kind of politics we play in Nigeria. We play a very divisive politics. I think for the leaders, it serves them for Nigerians to be disunited so that they can't present a common front. And that is, if we have a situation where all this hardship, forms a common basis, fighting for agitating for certain things, you have a more comprehensive, policy push, from the common people. So, but that is not what we have at this point. At this point.
All right, let me ask you one more on this. With this 50% tariff hike, which would definitely result into the increase in call rates, and then data text subscription messaging and text messaging and all short text messages. If you look at that, do Nigerians make more of calls, or do Nigerians consume more of data? And then compared to the short messages that we have, that's the SMS.
Yeah, I think Nigerians make more calls because, they make more calls. And I'll give you the reasons, the basis for it. We are not talking about the rural, the mostly uneducated people. Before you can use data more, you need to have Android. Smartphone. How many people can afford it? The ratio of Android compared to the ordinary phones that you have is still, the ratio is still, there is a huge disparity.
According to the reports of NCC showed that in 2023, outgoing telephone calls was 205.3 billion minutes, and incoming traffic stood at 203.2 billion minutes.
Okay.
So that altogether, that's
Okay, that is call.
Calls, just calls.
Okay. That is, it's on the increase, right? So that's what we're saying. There is more calls as far as... Do we have a figure on the data?
No,
not yet.
Okay. So what it simply tells you is that Nigeria make more calls. They make a substantial amount of calls. And, having that data, I don't know what we do with our data. Data is mine. It's gold, for people who really want to do business. With that kind of a thing alone, and we are not talking of, not all Nigerians are captured, within that, within that praxis. So what it simply tells me is that thing could be more. Because if you look at the analysis we have under Pantami, that we are still underutilizing that particular sector. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why. It goes back to tell you why I'm of this position, that something more should be done, to bring in more choices for Nigeria. We keep on talking about rural telephony, and nothing is being done about it. Attempts by some, Visa phone, for instance, came on board. A lot of all these small, phones came on board, but they died a natural death. Why? This is because effort is not made to subsidize rural telephony. Like you have in the power sector, you have the rural electrification projects and things like that. Would you have something commensurate to that for rural people? So that, what it does, it helps those of you who know you can function adequately in the urban area. You move to the rural areas so that you can have more people, more choices,
All right. Thank you, Nicholas, on that one.
All right. Let's move into this conversation. Presidency knocks Kemi Badenoch. You're denigrating Nigeria to gain party acceptance. Apparently, the presidency has said that UK Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch's denigrating comments about Nigeria are targeted at gaining acceptance from her party members.
I don't know. The thing is it's kind of funny. This is what most politicians are good at doing. You understand? When they are in the opposition, they will make all hues and cries about something wrong with Nigeria and things like that. The same people who are saying those things now, when they were in the opposition, what were they saying about Nigeria? Because I recall clearly the electoral circuits of APC in 2015, with the kind of things they were going about deliberately demarketing the country. You understand? On the areas of insurgency and things like that. Even when the president of that time decided to take a specific stand on Boko Haram, I recall what Lai Mohammed said. You understand? So now somebody in Nigeria now going abroad, to do things to please his party, and you are complaining here. Who set the record? Who set that precedent? They set the precedence. You understand? So,
well, Nicholas, I will need you to. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying.
Hold on.
Okay.
I would need you not to just label it to a political party. I think it's a general thing. Most of these political parties do. So because if you look at 1993, 1999, 2003, 2007. We all remember statements made by politicians.
Exactly.
It's just that the advent of social media and then we having more access to media, digital media, open our eyes to seeing more comments from politicians. But if you go back to the day, you would definitely
but you are
say,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Now, labeling it to a particular party.
I gave an instance. I gave just one instance. But it could go. It applies to the other side too. So what I'm saying, if you recall what I said these politicians are very funny. When they are in the opposition, they do exactly the same thing that they are accusing Badenoch of doing.
But
so
I'm pretty sure you're aware of Badenoch's statements.
Look, please.
If we can go back and mention.
This is just an arm of my argument. I'm not saying that what Badenoch is doing is top notch, or that is salutary. No, that is not what I'm saying.
All right.
But you see, I'm brought here to do analysis.
Yeah. Now, let's analyze this a little bit more.
All right.
Now, look at the United States elections, for example.
All right.
There's a new president there.
Okay.
Now, if you're in the opposition, the Republicans will criticize every action of the Democrats.
Okay.
Same with the Democrats on the Republicans.
Okay.
Internally.
Okay.
But do Nigerians go to demarcate their country outside? If they are politicians as well, so they can do the internal criticisms. But how often do you hear Nigerian politicians go speak, even if there is a foreign interview that I've seen a couple of times, even with the UK election, with the UK system, but it's not to the level as when you criticize and then what you're making it look like that way with demarcate Nigeria on a global stand.
Well, maybe this is where we need to speak about communication theory, especially in the international sphere. What we are talking about is how internal is our criticism, communication on criticism. How internal is it? There is nothing like internal criticism. What I'm talking here now, and it's been streamed live on Facebook. So people who are in UK, in US, can see me right now talking.
Obviously.
So when they speak, they think they are speaking to their village, they think they're having a town hall meeting. Even town hall meetings are aired live.
Nicholas, is almost the same thing.
And so that's what we're saying. What I'm saying is that, you see, I am not giving Badenoch pass mark for what she's doing. I feel bad that somebody out there that is having, doesn't know what it means to be a Nigerian living in Nigeria, just go there and run off her mouth. But all I'm saying is that she's copying examples. Copying example for leaders who should have known better when they were in the opposition, not to say certain things about their country. That is all I'm saying. So the thing is, when Nigerian politicians are after power, everything is fair game. And what we are saying is that they should look inwards first. If you have been, he that must come to equity must come with clean hands. That is all I'm saying. You see, like tomorrow, if I happen to be a spokesman for, a political player, top player, and I say something contradictory, and you call me out, the next thing I will be silent. You have discredited me. So we should always be very particular about what we say at every point in time. I'm proud of being a Nigerian. You understand? But I will never stop saying that the kind of things that people who are aspiring to be leaders are saying shouldn't be said at all.
Are you in total agreement to all statements made by Kemi Badenoch?
No.
Knowing fully well that the UK has its own challenges as well too.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me remind you of one of the statements made by Kemi Badenoch.
Okay.
She said the level of crime is as a result of the infiltration of Africans, even including Nigerians.
Okay. That is in the UK.
In the UK, yes.
Are there statistics to back that up?
That's according to a statement.
No. She wouldn't say that if there are no statistics to back it up. You understand? But you see, that is not to say that Nigerians are criminal minded. No. That I won't.
But that is how she's painting it to be.
Well, you see, the point I'm saying is this. What I'm saying invariably is this. If you have figures that support certain things, you understand? I will put it differently. You understand? If I were to say things like that, I will put it differently. You understand? But if she says it, all I'm saying is that I don't have all the facts that she has and why she's saying things like that. But secondly, like I said earlier, it's not as if I'm in support of what she's saying, as a politician, but, saying that is the presidency attacking her. And I will know the people within the presidency have done even worse. They have spoken even worse about their country.
The presidency, the presidency's statement is, you're only trying to win the support of your party, the Conservative Party.
Okay.
Is that a wrong response?
Okay, wait. Let us ask this question. Who is Kemi Badenoch? Which country does she belong to? She is a British citizen. Belongs to a party there. That's where she lives. That's her home country. And her loyalty is to her country. It's as simple as that. That is just a fact. You understand? Yes, he has a Nigerian root. Just like you have, Indians that are Britons that have Nigerian roots. If we come to really looking at what Kemi Badenoch is saying, what I will simply tell her is, Rishi Sunak, there are challenges in India. He didn't make it a campaign point. You understand? That is the flip side of the argument. He didn't make it a campaign point. This mayor of London, that is a Muslim Pakistani, is it? Pakistani?
Yes.
Pakistani. There are issues in Pakistan, issues of abuses and things like that. But he never made it a campaign point. You understand? So it goes to show what I am simply looking at is the average Nigerian. That sense of citizenship is completely absent in most Nigerians, whether in here or out there. And if you look at what she said holistically, she has always said that this concept of Nigeria, she never believed in it. That she only identifies with her tribe as Yoruba. She never hid that. So, and that is what we have been saying, that look, this is a function of leadership over the years in Nigeria. We must face the fact as it is. You understand? I am saying that our leaders should make us proud of our country. As much as we complain about terrible things happening in our country, we must have a basis for hope. I cannot go out and say that about my country. No, I won't say that.
Okay, then. And then I need to ask you this straight
Okay.
up. Are you in support of us? In the response of the presidency?
Yeah, the presidency has a right to say that, but we have to put it in context. I'm brought here as an analyst. An analyst looks at all sides.
Oh yes.
And that is what I have done. Yes, they have done the right thing, but you see, I hope they too can learn that when they leave that place and they find themselves in the opposition tomorrow, are they going to say the same thing about Nigeria? just like Kemi Badenoch is doing. So you see, there is enough lesson for everybody to learn from here. You understand? I have never come here to say terrible things about my country. I love I love Nigeria. I love my country. But it doesn't mean I can't speak about certain things that is making people divorce from the concept of citizenship, Nigerian citizenship. And that is the issue. You know, a lot of things happen in our daily life. We were just talking about tariff here. And we are saying there are options that could make things better for people. Now, imagine somebody getting out of this country and remembers the hassle he has to go through, you know, paying the tariff, paying taxes and the rest of them. How will he feel about this country? You know?
All right. Well, we've spent a lot of time talking about this. Let's move on to this. We're talking about the UK. Let's move to the US. President Trump has been inaugurated as the 47th non-consecutive US president, and he has outlined a bold agenda for his administration and touching on issues of gender, race, border control, economic reforms, energy policies. And he has asserted that his administration would only recognize two genders, male and female, effectively dismissing other identities. And, he also mentioned sending millions and millions of criminal aliens back to their home countries.
Trump.
And there's been a lot of conversation about that since when the inauguration.
Well, there should be conversations about it. You see, when I read the speech early this morning, I went through the entire speech. And for me, you know, what struck me is I got the sense of what is sadly lacking in leadership in this part of the world. You understand? See, no matter how you talk about globalization and the rest of them, your country must always come first. That is something I admire in Trump. Our leaders must put Nigeria first. And that is what he's doing. And I salute him for that. And there are lots of policies that he reeled out. Now, a lot of people might frown at this issue of throwing out aliens and the rest of them. You see, everywhere in the world, you seek the best to come and build your country. He's not saying that people shouldn't come into America. You must come in legally. And you must have a good business that will enrich his country before you come in. It is the right of every country to choose that. Why will I bring in liabilities into my home? I'll bring in something that is going to add value. Then if we are looking at something on humanitarian grounds, you know, so we want to move in a large population on humanitarian ground. We must be sure that those are people that will not come and cause problem for our citizens. You see, that is what it means to be a statesman. A statesman is about your country first. So it's on that basis you relate with people. So for me, you know, and that is why you see a lot of people, you know, you see a lot of country already saluting him. You see a lot of policy change at the international scene. You see it happening. Look at what happened in the Middle East. The hostage deal has happened. You understand? Because they know the man will not give, that is, they know he doesn't give any quarter. When it comes to, you know, willing and dealing, he's a businessman and a trader. You take, you give. He gives, you take. It's as simple as that. He broke it down to trading. What are you giving me for giving you this? You understand? I think a lot of leaders, especially in Africa, must learn to copy suit. And I think that there is a huge opportunity for Nigeria when you look at that thing. What it simply means that we have vast resources, we have vast lands that can accommodate Nigerians. We don't need to even look outside. So it's a big challenge for us to make Nigeria workable on the basis of that policy that is rolling out. So for me, I think African countries should reach out to every nook and cranny within their country. Look at, you know, opposition, look at stakeholders, talk to all of them. That this is where the world is going. Are we going to sit down and just watch our people just, you know, run helter-skelter, go and die in the desert and all because they want to get to some imaginary El Dorado? That is, you know, for me, I think it's a clarion call for everybody, especially Nigerian leaders.
All righty. If you want to make your contributions, please, you can give us a call on 0807 777 9927. And you can text us on WhatsApp as well too. Moshood says, good morning. Your program and the station is the best. Thank you. But we'll let you just whip up some other, you know, issues around the country so we can tackle them and talk about some of these, you know, challenges. By proffering solutions is not to criticize ourselves, but rather to constructively talk about some of these issues. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Headline News Review. What's your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Adeyemi. Adedayo. You
Oh,
see, the analysts have said a lot in the studio. I want us to look into, I want to chip in on first headline about the rice and tariff plan. This country, I don't know. I've already seen this coming because we are being ruled by a government that is so compassionate and care more about themselves and they care about the billions of Nigerians. You see, how, like, we in Africa, we are rated, this is the latest statistic. We are rated as the number one internet users in Africa and number 8 in the world, ahead of Russia and South Korea. Can you imagine? So, here, I want you to look holistically into the interest of those that call themselves business movement and the enigmatic politicians of this country. So you can see that they care more about themselves than the billions of these Nigerians. You see, now, look into it very well. You will see, oh, I'm sorry, I read that now.
okay. Well, it's trying to connect back if you can. 0807 777 9927. 0807 777 9927. Would you like to make a contribution to the last caller?
Yeah. I think the young man is on point. You see, in America, there is this thing you call the antitrust law. What the Antitrust Act is essentially geared towards disallowing the growth of a monopoly. What we have seen happen in this, thing is like a monopoly. People just coming together to dictate what they dish out to subscribers, and this shouldn't be. It shouldn't be so. So that's an apt observation by that young man. Honestly.
All right, give us a call on 0807 777 9927. See if we can. I'm quickly squeezing one more and then take more contributions, or quickly take your take on a particular story. 0807 777 9927. That's the number to join the conversation this morning. And you can leave us your comment on WhatsApp as well. 0807 777 9927. That's for calls and for WhatsApp. Let's quickly take a look at this. The Niger State government has said they will take over the medical bills of victims of the Diko Junction attack. Is that the best that the government can do for the people, rather than some of those issues around transportation? Even if it's not totally in their control, but at least getting the federal government to act fast.
Yeah. Well, you see, let me say something. Let us commend him for doing that. Really, that he's taking over the bills and things like that. Then we must equally know too that he's handicapped. All those roads we described, are federal government roads.
Of course, yes.
There's absolutely nothing he can do about it. But be that as it may, this equally speaks about synergy. You see, all this issue of giving charity after a disaster is not the best. What are you doing to forestall things like that from happening? I think he has made a policy about. I think he made 1 or 2 policies about. Banning certain categories of articulated vehicles from passing that area. I think I can't recall, but you see, it must be comprehensive so that we know that things like this will never happen again.
All right, let's take one more call before we wind down. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Headline News Review. Please quickly make your comments.
I want to make a comment about it first. Talk about the UK lady that unfortunately what I could say over there, we do say something in Yoruba land. Amani Jomo Yava Wali Omba so Omare Ngadi Omba so the woman wasn't wrong. The woman just said but I can't see why the president will make the kind of comment he made. Instead of them, they are supposed to work on our country. Because that's what we are not doing. So I don't know what our leaders are doing over there. They are doing, I don't know what to say.
All right. Our time is fast spent. All right. Your comment has been made. Your comment has been passed across. All right. Thank you a lot. Our time is for spent. Nicholas, thank you for coming this morning. That's the size of it. The views expressed is not in any way the position of Flo FM, but solely as expressed by the callers this morning and Nicholas Uwaronoye. I am Dayo Adeyemi.
I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Here to light up the sea.